Here we go. I think we are now live. We've got Dave Bumberger. He came on my time. This is like 11 a.m. my time. So that would be um, wherever, 5 o'clock in the morning for you.
Oh, okay.
6
Oh,
o'clock in the morning, I think, for you. But yeah. Hi, Dave.
hey, Dave.
First, but not actually first because you're not physically here. So I got
Right.
my. You got the Lions behind you. I got my Bears top on. I don't know if he's going to still be there next year. But I got that on. I got delivery today. I got my Kemet, or how you say Kemet and DJ Moore jerseys
Oh,
home and away.
okay.
They were
Welcome at
today.
the tight end.
3XL. Oh, do you hear that?
Uh,
Are you hearing me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I
Yeah.
wasn't sure. Josie's in the house. Hello, darling.
Hey, Josie.
I did put in Discord. We're going live. Josie's here. Happy days. Um, This is well, I mean, hey, we got to touch upon it before we get into the Super Bowl. We got to touch upon it because I think he pussied out a little bit.
Oh
And
no, I was gonna. No,
yeah.
no, I was gonna do a recap after the Super Bowl. It doesn't make sense to do it before the Super
Oh,
Bowl. Yeah. Yeah.
okay. No, so you aren't pussied out. Fine. Okay, that's
No,
fine.
no, no. I'm gonna give my opinion. Just you got to wait till everything's wrapped up. Just because we're out doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. So,
But
um,
I gave my thoughts last week on it. Man, you know, I'm not gonna rub it in, but man, anyway, you should be here in the Super Bowl. But anyway, what can I say? It is what it is. But we are now in the Super Bowl. We've got in the land of Bang Bang, Niners Gang, and Chiefs Kingdom. Man, do you know what? I don't know if it's me or whatever. It doesn't even feel like Super Bowl week. Um,
no, it doesn't.
I follow Barstool Sports, right? And Dave
Mm,
Portman was on last night saying they were doing the rundown program, and he said we literally has zero topics. There's no topics. He was like, there's no
yeah.
controversy. There's nothing. He hasn't seen a Super Bowl lead up so boring before in his life. And I was like, yeah. I mean, I'm counting on. Like, I'm excited for it because obviously Josie and Sarah P and everything. But I'm excited for them. But I'm like, geez, I don't think I'd be bothered. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. What's the feeling out in the States with you? Was this different with you though?
I, I mean, did you watch him unveil Kobe's statue? No, I didn't. Huh.
No, no, didn't see that.
Huh. Um, so it's Super Bowl week. There hasn't been a lot of fanfare about it. Honestly, it's been just kind of like I've seen some things about it, but it hasn't had the same impact that previous Super Bowls have had, in my opinion. Um, it's interesting. I don't know if it's just not because it's not in our area, or I think I think that the NFL is trying to procure a different audience, and
Mm.
and if you want to bring that up, this might be why.
Oh,
You know,
oh, fucking hell. You dirty, dirty boy. Dirty, dirty boy. You.
I think that the trad sports fan is not they're not the impact. Like they're going to the Swift thing. They're going to capitalize on and use to their advantage. And I think that that's more of the focus. That's what I've seen a lot of is, oh, Taylor Swift's coming, and talking to Kelsey about their relationship and blah blah blah. Yeah, Taylor. That's
Mm.
same for me, Josie. Like Taylor Swift and I can't ever pronounce his last name, Jusic.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Just get.
it seems like they're really trying to reach a different audience, which is fine. I mean, sometimes you have to expand your audience, but they're kind of leaving football fans out in the cold. Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
um,
I will be honest with you. I've not heard much about Taylor Swift or Kirsten Jizik, whatever her name is.
Okay.
And I don't know why. I get it. And it's just been this week. That is the build up. You're 100% right. You know, Taylor Swift's been everything, but I'm
Mhm.
surprised that I've not heard anything about her. But I think it's down because I'm not going looking for it. If that makes sense.
Gotcha.
I don't follow any of that stuff. I don't like. I'm busy with other stuff on Twitter at the minute, you know, engaging in other stuff. So maybe that's why.
Mhm.
I suppose if had my NFL hat on, I would see a lot more. But maybe because I'm just not interested in that sort of stuff, so I just zoom past it. Um, so maybe that's why I'm not really engrossed. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like a Super Bowl week
No,
at all.
it doesn't. So there's been like normally with the Super Bowl press road, you get some kind of wild statement or wild something. And it hasn't been anything like that. We'll stop giving her credit and press and
Yeah.
remove her.
Uh,
Um,
oh, sorry. Yeah.
so
Oh no, I was quite happy. I was quite happy with her. Um, but you say that's an interesting point because years gone by, I always watched Pat McAfee,
Mhm.
and I think he only arrived like yesterday or the day before,
Yeah,
um, on there. Like normally he's there for the start of the week, and I've not really been following his show for the last few weeks, and you're right, nothing's really come out about it. The awards were last night. I
yeah,
saw a tweet about that. I still don't know really who's won. I think Lamar Jackson won MVP. CJ Stroud was he Young Player of the Year. Chris McCaffrey, I think, Offensive Player of the Year. Will McDonald, I believe, or Will Anderson, sorry, Rookie Defensive Player of the Year. Miles Garrett was Defensive Player of the Year. This is all top of my head, by the way. I could be completely wrong with some of these. And was it Kevin Stefanski won Coach of the Year? Cam Haywood won Walter Payton Man of the Year. I mean, I'm Rain Man. I'm just reading these off. I'm not even looking. I only saw it once. So how the fuck do I remember all this shit? I don't know.
so
We're completely wrong.
we're kind of jumping around. So I'm gonna try and right the ship for a second. So uh
Yeah.
so let's clear up last week's games. Or did we already did. We did that last week, didn't we? Yeah. Okay, never
Yeah.
mind. Forget it. So yeah, let's go into the awards and I have them up.
Yeah.
So
The only reason I'm skipping to the award is just because there's nothing to talk about. I think we could talk about
yeah,
the game in a bit, but I've never seen a Super Bowl where there's nothing to discuss.
yeah,
So
there's
I'm
just nothing.
thinking how we fill this show. So there we are. Go into that one, and I don't have it in front of me. So
Okay. So yeah, Lamar Jackson won the MVP of the league. Um, I mean, it was pretty clear he's going to the disappointing performance in the AFC Championship game. This is going to be more of the Lamar can win MVPs, but not Super Bowls. Um, I was kind of hoping for the sake of Lamar they wouldn't give it to him because then he wouldn't have that moniker of he can win during the regular season but not playoffs. Uh, but of course he was clear front runner probably for the MVP award
yeah,
and he's won multiple at this point. So
yeah. I think he had like 31 votes, and Josh Allen had one or something, if I
yeah,
remember rightly.
yep, that's what it looks like. So uh, blah blah blah. So that's his second win. He was clearing away. So then we go to offensive player of the year. Uh, offensive player of the year was from a team in the Super Bowl. Christian McCaffrey, running back for the San Francisco 49ers.
Mm,
Kind of surprising.
man. Do you think surprising?
I I'm not a McCaffrey fan. Um,
Whoa, drop it. Drop it. Statement made. Boozy, calm down. Boozy, calm down.
yeah, I'm not a big McCaffrey fan. But he led the NFL in scrimmage yards, 126.4. touchdowns, 21, rushing yards, 1459, first downs at 114. So, I mean, he had the stats to back it up. I just think that there were probably more impactful and better offensive players than Christian McCaffrey, even if you do like him. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing about the guy that just like there's nothing about the guy where I'm gonna fight you over it. Like he seems to be pretty good. He's just not. He's not a guy that I'm super high on. So
Well, before you move on, hey, let me discuss this. I mean, come on. Right. I'm surprised because I got a totally opposite view. I think he's first of all, his dating instinct is fantastic. Have you seen his fiance? She is drop dead gorgeous. So he's on point in his love life.
okay.
I generally think that last year, last couple of years, people talk about trades and stuff like that. By far, I think for me, the best trade that's been done in recent history, I'm talking last however many years, I don't know, um, has been San Francisco robbing the Carolina Panthers for Christian McCaffrey. I thought that they got him for dirt cheap, and not only is he's a main like. There's a reason why people pick him number one in the fantasy drafts all the time, or 1, 2. Do you know what I mean? Okay, he's had a few injuries, but I just think his running game. It's just not just that. Also, the fact that here we go, you dirty boy, you mighty. Hello. I'll leave that up for a little bit. Not only the running game, but like he could be anywhere in the backfield, and he's a danger. You cannot just leave him go. He can pop up anywhere, and he also is a safety net. He's safety net for Brock Purdy. I think that he is. She's so beautiful. I know, isn't she? I mean, he's a good-looking guy. He's a good-looking guy as well. So I don't know. I just think that the trade that the Panthers, the San Francisco. That's why I thought they got a steal there, and I think that for me, I think he's a diff. For me, the 49ers needed somebody like him. Like they've got a great team, but they needed someone of that experience and that composure. He can run it. He can catch it. He can fly. I just don't. I just think that he's an incredible player. I think for me, he's the best running back in the league. And I don't. I mean, to be honest, I don't even think it's close. I'd select him over anybody. His overall, I think if you go run in against pass catching, I think there's probably better runners, probably better catchers. But I mean, overall, when you combine everything he does, I don't think anyone comes close to it because Jonathan Taylor's fantastic player, but I think he's just a bull, head down, let's go type of player. One thing the 49 players are not bad at is picking hockey wires. Exactly. I don't know.
When you're in Southern California, there's a good pool of them. So
yeah, that's my view. I'm a little bit leaning towards a bit more towards it because obviously your comments, but I just think he's. I'm not sure who you pick as offensive player of the year ahead of him this year. I don't know. And that's a genuine question. There might be some people who are like, yeah, okay. I mean, there are some candidates, obviously, but I don't know. I think overall, man, I like him. But hey, anyway, that's my opinion.
I think if Lamar's your MVP, then it's probably. I mean, he's an offensive player. I think Lamar Jackson would have been good. I know that they don't like to give 2 awards to one person, but I think he could have been a good player there. I think I'm very old school on. Hey, what's up, Dave? I'm very old school on the. If you want to be a great player, do it where you're at. And I think when you run out to join a better football team, I'm not a huge fan of that. I like loyalty, and I like people that stay where the team took a chance on them, and and build something there. And that, I mean, that plain and simple could have been the biggest thing why I don't like him as much. Just because
Yeah.
I feel like if you're there, man, make it work. Do it where you're at, not go join some. It's LeBron James, who I dislike so much.
Yeah.
He does that. He kind of pioneered that. Just run off to a pre-built champion, and yeah, I think you do it where you're at. Make it work where
I
you're
get
at.
what you said.
So
I do get what you say. I think that in that situation, the only thing I'd say disagree with you on is that at the time, well, I mean, not at the time, still is, the Panthers are a dumpster fire. And they wanted to get rid of him. He was carrying that team to the point that he's getting injured. I mean, with him on there carrying the team, they were actually winning games. He's
mm,
gone. They lost them. They're losing all the games. I think they they were wasting his talent. He was going to retire in a few years. I just think they did the right thing for him, if that makes sense, because they knew they were never going to get. They didn't have a quarterback. The owner is just so impatient. They didn't have
mm,
a head coach. There's so many things that they literally wanted to tear it all down, and I think they did him a solid, if I'm being honest, rather than because they could have kept him.
yeah, yeah,
But I think they did him solid. Be like, look, you've given us like what 5 6 years. You've been injured. We've run you to the ground. Um, we'll just give you the opportunity to win a Super Bowl. And I
yeah,
think that, yeah. But overall stance in most stances, I think I agree with you because make it work where you are. But I don't think whoever you are, you're never going to make it work with the Panthers.
yeah,
Not during that period. I think he's still going to wait a few more years. And that's not. I don't think it's all the other players. I think it's ownership and
mm,
all sorts of issues. So that's why I'm a bit like, yes, I agree, but maybe not quite to the because Lions is a good example.
mm,
You can look at all the talent they had there. Barry Sanders and all that stuck it out. Obviously, didn't do it. You just think, so, Jesus, what if he'd have been in another team? But he did stick it out. So I
mm,
I take my hat off to him. That he stuck, so he gets extra credit from me for doing that. I just would have loved to see him in a Super Bowl or something because I think he's that caliber that deserves to be. You know, but hey, it is what it is now. But
yeah.
I get your point. I get your point, but I just think that in that situation he was in a dumpster fire. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean Detroit was a dumpster fire for so long, and you got people who stick around. You got Calvin Johnson stayed here his entire
Yeah,
career. Barry Sanders stayed here his entire career. It's just it's a different experience, and I'm a fan of loyalty. I'm a fan of like the old time hockey days. That's where I get most of my sports and watching with
yeah,
my grandfather and that kind of stuff. And those guys they wouldn't leave ever. Like they were there, like whoever you were, if you were drafted, you were there. That's your life. So,
yeah,
um, and there were some trades and some signings and stuff, but never. Most of the good guys stayed put. So, um,
yeah.
but yeah,
Other times are changing as well, but yeah, I get your point though. I get your point.
yeah, yeah. So, um, but moving on from the offense, let's move to the defense. Miles Garrett, defensive player of the year, defensive end for the Cleveland Browns. Uh, One, I think the Browns got way too much credit in this awards garbage here. Two, do I think Miles Garrett's a great player? Yeah. Um, I I think he too often takes plays off, um, and doesn't always show up. But I think I think he's a great player.
Yeah,
I don't think he's like a franchise player. Um, Stop the presses. I'd rather have Aiden Hutchinson, and that pains me very deeply in my heart to say that because he's a
hmm
Michigan Wolverine. But um,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, Aiden seems to have, to his credit, high motor, and he's just there. He's there every single play. I think Garrett takes plays off, and I don't know. So, but I think he's a great player. I'm not going to argue with it too much. But
no, I know. I get what you're saying. I'm just jumping in there now because I got the same feeling. I don't know if I was quite surprised when I saw he won it. He's a great player, but I don't remember this year being whoa, what outstanding. Garrett's been outstanding. I don't remember anything that stands out that he had such an influence. I think that had Micah Parsons had a better year because he's a great player, Micah Parsons. But again, I don't think he had the year that he had the year before. So he couldn't win it. Aiden Hutchinson, his time's coming. It's just not there yet. But he's going, and I agree with you. I would have Hutchinson over everyone I'm naming at the minute, to be quite honest with you. He's actually one of my favourite players. Then you've got TJ Watt, but he was out injured quite a fair bit. So when he was there, he was absolutely influential. I think I'd have given it to TJ over Garrett, I think. But he's still injured a lot. So I genuinely don't know who I'd have given it to. I think that people overlook people like Christian Wilkins. What do you call him? For the Panthers, Derek Brown. Derek Brown's outstanding this year, but they don't get any credit. And you got the New York Giants, same position from Clemson. Don't remember his name now. The Giant is going to the Giants. Dabo Sweeney said. I don't remember his name, but I have to look it up now. New York Giants. Giants defense. Players. Where has he gone? Dexter Lawrence.
Okay.
Dexter Lawrence, I think, is outstanding as well. But I think these big men like Quinton Williams. I don't think Quinton Williams would have won it this year, but these players, I don't think they get the credit they deserve for the work they do. They're workhorses. And I think, especially Derek Brown. I thought Derek Brown did outstanding this year. So yeah, I don't think that these players get any credit for the work. So I don't know. I'm underwhelmed by Garrett. To be quite honest, I'm underwhelmed by him. But then if it's not him, who? But I don't know. I'd rather give it to like a Derek Brown or Dexter Lawrence or somebody like that for 1 year. Because normally it's edge rushers and stuff like that. I don't think anyone was a standout this year. But
No, and I mean the finalists for the award, the 5 finalists were Myles Garrett, TJ Watt from Pittsburgh, who's a great football player, just not. I mean, didn't have an outstanding year. Micah Parsons, who unfortunately plays for the Cowboys, if he, come up to Detroit, then he'd probably have an MVP season. Cornerback Deron Bland and Max Crosby out of Eastern Michigan University. So there was never a huge standout. There was never nobody on defense where it's just like, yeah, this is the guy. Everybody kind of blended together, and I get it. So
yeah, no, and that's what I mean. I think it was just a year for a different player, a different position, because there was no standout. You're right, and normally there is, but there wasn't this year. So anyway, fuck it.
Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think this one I hate the most. CJ Stroud, quarterback, Houston Texans. Don't ever take an Ohio State quarterback. Ever.
You've been proven wrong so far, huh?
Well, I mean, he didn't win anything. He didn't win the Super Bowl.
Come on. What bollocks that is. That's bollocks. He made the playoffs. I think that he did fantastic this year. I think, look, he could be well right. He's still got years to go. He might well be right, and he might be like he tanks. But I disagree for this year. I thought he did outstanding. I think Houston Texans should never be in the playoffs this year. So I give him credit for that. Now, do I think he makes it in the top elite player? I don't know. It's too early to say. So you could well be right that he's going to tank, but
Yeah.
I'll give him credit for this year. You know, I have to, because you're not going to. I'm going to have to go to bat for him a little bit on that one.
That's okay. I'll let you do that. He had 4,100 passing yards, third most for a rookie. But he's doing it in the AFC South. I don't know. I think he's talented. He's obviously talented. He was talented enough to go, high in the draft. He was talented enough to win at Ohio State. I'm just not convinced on an Ohio State quarterback, and B, I think that the new NFL is if you can get a talented guy in their first year, the schemes, the tape, the tendencies, all that stuff. People don't know about it, and if you're talented enough to carry it and want to put in the work, you can have a really great rookie season. The problem is now people have tape on you, and they're going to adjust, and you're not going to be as effective next year. So
No,
we'll see.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair, but I will challenge you on that. Say, but we're basing this on year one, in the sense of this award. So, although you could well be right, you could well 100% be right in what you're saying. To give him credit, though, in year one, he nailed it. And I'm only basing it on year one. I don't know what he's going to be like next year. I do think he might regress a little bit next year, but we don't know yet. So you probably are right that he'll regress, but we'll deal with that next year. For this year, the only person I think could have challenged him was a wide receiver from the Rams. I can't say his name.
Puka Nacua?
Yeah, that's the one. I thought he was outstanding as well. I thought he was in with a good shout to win it. So for me, he's always been between those two. Not early on, but halfway through the season, I was like, whichever one. But I don't disagree with him being Stroud. But those would be my top two. I'm not sure what the top two were, but that would be my top two. I don't know who my third would have been, to be quite honest.
So the finalist, and this might be why I'm kind of salty too. Detroit Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he had a masterful season. If he would have stayed healthy throughout the entire season and they would have used him early and often, he probably would have won.
There we are.
Fantastic
Early and
talent.
often. You said it there. That's why. They didn't play him for the first 5 games, man. It was something like that. He was outstanding, but they didn't play him enough. It was because of the injury that happened. They got into the game. So yeah, he's a talented dude. He's gonna smash it next year. But I think that's the whole reason why it was not for me in the top 3, because he missed so much play. But he's definitely an outstanding talent. But yeah, sure. Sorry, I was going there because you nailed it by saying didn't use him early and often. So sorry, that's why I could have crossed. You're 100% correct.
You're totally fine. Guy we already talked about, Puka Nacua out of Los Angeles, wide receiver. Bijan Robinson, running back from the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know.
Good player.
Yeah.
He's not good. He wasn't outstanding this year. He wasn't. He had some outstanding moments, but he didn't, like, when the team needed him. He didn't step up.
Yeah.
And that's what you look for, is who's going to step up. And difference between him and Gibbs this year were when they needed a play, Gibbs will give him a play. When really the Falcons needed a play, he wasn't there. So I don't put it all on him. He's a very talented dude, but I do Gibbs ahead of Robinson this year anyway. So for me,
yeah. And then of course CJ Stroud, who we've talked about, and the guy I genuinely think should have won it. Lions tight end Sam Laporta. that guy
Yeah,
is that guy's.
complete.
Oh, that's gonna be disgusting. He broke the uh trying to think of what it was called. The receiving record for receiving yards by a tight end. Rookie receiving yards by a tight end. He beat Mike Ditka's record, um, held since 1961. Plus a couple more records along the way, but that was the big one. He beat Mike Ditka's rookie tight end record of 1,076 yards. So it's obvious. I mean, he had 82 catches. That boy can play, and I think there should have been a case for it. Obviously, they're always going to go more heavy quarterback because that's kind of what they do. But I think Sam's a great player and truly deserving of the award. But he was a finalist, so I mean,
not many tight ends make finalists. To be fair, not many tight ends. So I think you can take credit on that. And whenever I saw him play, he was really, really good this year. So I mean, I didn't see every snap, so I can't judge too much. But I was impressed with him. I thought he was solid. He was like a blanket, and I thought he was creative and strong, evasive. And I think if he plays like that next season, but you did have TJ Hawkinson, didn't you? So I'm not sure. Like, how valuable do the Lions have? How much value do they place on tight ends? Because they shipped out Hawkinson. Are they going to be doing the same thing again with him in the sense of because you can't keep everybody, you can't keep all the players. Do you know what I mean? So does Dan Campbell value tight ends less, even though he was a tight end himself? That you can actually, I don't know, does the value tight ends less than that people think? Actually, we can draft some because it's going to be a point where you go Goff now going to get a big contract, Gibbs will want a big contract, your wide receivers will all want St. Brown will want a big contract, Hutchinson's will want a big contract. As that's not to say all the other defense players, Penny Sewell as well, and now this guy as well. I mean, it's impossible for you to keep everyone. I don't know. Do they? I don't know. That's a chat for a few years' time. But I don't know. Do they hold any value in the? Because they do want to pay TJ Hawkinson, so would they even want to pay this guy? I don't know. Probably because he's outstanding, but so was TJ Hawkinson. He was really good as well. So I don't know.
I think Hawk was. There was a big there's a big value for him at the time. I think Campbell, it wasn't his guy. Laporta is his guy, and I think Laporta is a generational talent at the position, and he'll be there. I think Laporta's gonna stay, and I mean these are all. Gibbs was a first round pick, so they have a 5th year option. So we're talking 4 or 5 years down the road.
Yeah.
Before we even have to start thinking about that. So
no, there is. You're 100% right. It's not a now issue, but in 3, 4, 5 years, you've got a massive dilemma in the Lions, and you've got to make sure that. And in fairness, you have drafted well, but that needs to continue. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no way you can keep all these players, So, but that's right. Brad Holmes' his issue. But I love Brad Holmes dunking on all the journalists, by the way, in the press conference. Love that. Well, that's not what you were saying earlier on, Phil. That's not what you said at the start of the season. It's like, oh, yes. Let's go. Anyway, move on from that. Anyway.
Yeah. So we have Defensive Rookie of the Year. Again, I'm not going to argue much about it. Will Anderson Jr., defensive end, Houston Texans. Again, there was nobody that wowed me at all. And I just looked at the list of finalists, and the only one I even know is Jalen Carter out of Philadelphia, the defensive tackle. Beyond that,
do you see the story about him? I saw today on Twitter. on X, sorry, that someone put a bet in at the start of the season about and named all the winners, and he put Jimmy Carter as the defensive instead of Will Anderson. That's the only one he got wrong. Put $5 in to win $650,000, I think, dollars.
Wow.
Obviously didn't win it, but he did sell 25% of the ticket for 25 grand in advance. So he has 75% of it. He sold 25. He made 25 grand then, which he said he was happy with, because. But man, how sick was that? 600 or something thousand.
Right.
Jesus.
That's crazy. Huh. But for all, I mean, well, I understand. I mean, I don't think it was a spectacular draft class. I don't think this next one's going to be a spectacular draft class either. So maybe that's why these, if you look at the offensive player of the years, I guess Stroud but a couple of them are later round picks. So they're not like they were highly sought after guys. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to argue the selection much because there just wasn't a whole lot out of the defensive rookies. So,
no, I agree. And he had a good season, so it's fine.
Yeah. And then Coach of the Year, Kevin Stefanski, Cleveland Browns. I know you like this guy. I don't know.
I like the guy.
Yeah, I thought you liked Stefanski.
Not really. I think he's done well this year. I'm not a massive fan of him, but I think he's done an outstanding job this year to keep that team together. But no, I'm not a massive. I think he's wasted years in the Browns. To be quite honest with you, this is the first year I probably would say, yeah, he's done well, considering all the injuries and everything like that. Previously, though, I think he's done quite badly. I think the only thing I think he did really well this year is at the end of the season allowing his O-line coach to leave to go to the Titans to join his son. I thought that was a classy move by him and the Browns. Bill Callahan, because Bill Callahan's one of the best O-line coaches in the league, and to lose him is a huge thing. But I thought it was a classy move by Stefanski. So he went up in my books because of that. But no, I'm not a massive fan of his. I think he's an average head coach. I think he outpunched himself this year, in my opinion. I know DeMeco Ryans came second, and there's like 1 point. They scored the same amount, except they had the same points or something, but Stefanski had one first round more than him or something. I would have gone DeMeco Ryans ahead of him personally, because of what's happened again in Houston. I don't want people to underestimate my belief in Houston Texans this year. I think Houston Texans, for me, were the team of the year. Next year, will they be? No, because now they've got good foundation there now. I'd expect them next. If they don't reach playoffs next year, then that's a disappointing season. But for going into this season, I think new head coach, new quarterback, new scheme, lots of new players, new coaching staff. I think they've done an outstanding job, and all credit to them. But yeah, I would go and give it to DeMeco Ryans over Stefanski personally.
Yeah, and then MCDC finished third. Motor City, Dan Campbell.
Has he won it before?
Has he won it before? No.
No.
Yeah.
I think I like Dan Campbell. I'm a big fan of Dan Campbell, but I don't know. Sometimes, man, I don't know. But I'm a huge fan. If you gave me Dan Campbell as your head coach, I'd run through a wall happy. Do you know what I mean? Just sometimes I'm just like, I have to put my head down on some of the decisions he makes. So, but he lives by the door. Sword dies by the sword, I suppose. But I also think there's some common sense sometimes. But but that's whatever. I mean, he's a great head coach. I think he's a very, very good head coach. But I would have said that I would have liked to see Ben Johnson or somebody get an award
Mhm.
ahead of him. I think Ben Johnson deserves a lot of credit. And in fairness, Aaron Glenn does as well. So I don't think it's just Dan Campbell. I think people stepped up and did a great job coaching-wise. So
Yeah, and they're staying around. I mean, Antoine Randall staying, and yeah, I mean everybody's staying. OCDC, all defensive line coach, everybody's sticking around to finish the job. So I'm excited about it. And in the last two finals are Kyle Shanahan and John Harbaugh. Eh, they get enough press.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Comeback player of the year. This
I was surprised.
I hope he just retires.
I was surprised.
The 39-year-old former Super Bowl MVP, Joe Flacco, Cleveland Browns.
I genuinely thought this was a slam dunk. Buffalo Bill guy. I thought he'd won it.
Buffalo Bill guy.
The one that came back on cardiac arrest.
Oh,
Damlin, or what's his name?
Damar Hamlin. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think he came second. I genuinely thought that's who won it. I was like, well, this is already a contest that's won. I mean, the guy had a heart attack, cardiac arrest, and died on the field, and now he's back playing again. What a story that is! I didn't think anyone would touch that. But then, maybe I was looking at it wrong. People don't look at sentimental stuff. Doesn't matter. He just died on the field and come back and play. I was just shocked. That's all. But whatever.
You told me we couldn't get a strike today, so I'm gonna decline talking about that. So obviously the finals were Damar Hamlin, safety for the Bills, Baker Mayfield. I mean, was he really a comeback player? I don't.
What's coming back anymore? What is coming back?
Right. Tua Tagovailoa. How the hell is he a comeback player? Like, he's been an NFL starter, and then Matthew Stafford. Like, you just need to give Stat Padford another award. Like, not enough love.
We don't have to move on to something else. I mean, what ridiculous candidates that is. Just that means it's a bogus one. Whatever, just move on. That's just a bullshit category.
No, I agree. So those are the awards. So I figured we'd finish up with the big game coming up. So obviously we watched the playoffs coming up, and we know what both teams are. We have the legacy Patrick Holmes, the Swifties, Travis gonna retire Kelsey, Andy Hawaiian shirt and a cheeseburger Reed against San Francisco with their Mr. Irrelevant at quarterback and I don't know, star-studded players up and down, that a very cowboy-esque team. You have, again, great tight end Kittle over there. I mean, they're pretty evenly matched, but one has significant deficiencies and so like talent. So like Brock Purdy is not Patrick Mahomes. But then the other way, you have it the other way where Christian McCaffrey is obviously better than Isaac Pacheco. And Kansas City still doesn't have a wide receiver. Their leading receiver is their tight end, Travis Kelce. So, I think it would be a decent game. We'll see what happens. I mean, they both played close games in the respective championships. And it will be, so the official line is San Francisco minus 2.5. So San Fran is favorite, but yeah, like you
Yeah.
said, there's just not a hell of a lot of storyline here. There's not a whole lot of interest here. I mean, Kansas City's played one more game because obviously San Francisco got the bye, so San Francisco's 14-5, Kansas City's 14-6. I don't know. Is there anything that sticks out to you about this game?
I just think it's one of these things on paper. I think San Francisco got an overall better team, but I think that Kansas City's got a better quarterback. And I think it might come down to the quarterback. If it's down to the quarterbacks, who knows? Matt Rule interestingly said today, not today, this week, about how he had him on, had Purdy on his board when he's with the Panthers, but he was laughed out of the room. Basically, no one else had him up there, but he thinks highly of him. And then apparently that is a true story. People confirmed. But look, I just think I said don't let the Chiefs get hot, and they got hot. But I think that the 49ers, they've had so many slip ups along the way. But I thought that I generally think the what do you call it, the Lions lost that game. They didn't actually win it. I think they know this is right. I'm not sure if they're playing skate football or if they what's happening. But what's George saying? Mahomes do crazy. He's a good quarterback. It is. It is. I think it's one of these things that he could win the game on his own. But I have belief, and I have had belief all the way through that the 49ers will win this Super Bowl. And I said that from day one. Even when we first streamed, I said it's going to be 49ers v Baltimore final. I was fairly close with that. Um, I have to believe that they will go for it. I have to believe that they will click because they've not clicked yet. And every team has a click. And I think this might be the week that they click. Now, I'm a big fan of Patrick Mahomes. I'm a big fan of Andy Reid. Obviously, I'm not into the whole Swifty thing, but I like Travis Kelce. I love his brother Jason. So there's a lot of stuff I like there. But you know, I do believe that the 49ers will win this, but I won't be sad if they didn't. You know what I mean? But he needs a channel. He's in the Mahomes. He does. He does. Look. I think you said something about that. The Purdy's not Mahomes, but I think you could say there's probably 27, 28 quarterbacks in the league that are not even close to Mahomes. I think there's 2 or 3 that you could say that is behind Mahomes, but similar skill level. I don't think Purdy's going to lose. I think if McCaffrey and all them, Ayuk, Kittle, everyone plays, being able to be open for him, then watch out. Also, I know with the Kansas City Chiefs, they're one of their best guards. His mother's just died, so that's maybe going to have an impact on him. So small things like that, you just don't know how people perform when you got death in the family and stuff. But one of the things, well, it's 2 things why I really want the 49ers to win is it's obviously my girls. But yeah, they do. Chase and Bosa definitely need to step up. But my girls, Josie and Sarapy, obviously I want them to win because that'd be outstanding for them. But also, I saw a clip I shared it with Josie the other day of their owner about 5 years ago when his brother died, and he was in the changing room, in the locker room saying, I want to buy a ring for you guys, blah, blah, blah. But I did a bit of research on the 49ers, and I think they're getting a bad rep sometimes because 2 years ago when they made the Super Bowl, saying this time, they flight all their staff, and stuff would be flown out to the Super Bowl. They've all been accommodated. The 49ers are paying for absolutely everything. I just think that's an absolute class organisation for you to do that. That is a, to me, shows that we're family first kind of organization. Tickets are not cheap, so they all get tickets. They go to the game and stuff. That's highly class, and also to see that owner after what I saw Jet or whatever his name is, Jed.
Mhm.
I just felt I wanted to win one. So little things like that resonate with me. So yeah, I'll be a 49er this weekend. As I say, I do want to see. I want Mahomes and Reed to have a legacy, like Belichick and Brady. But sometimes you have to lose some games, and I don't mind them losing this weekend's game.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah, I got you.
phone text when it was. Yeah. So I'm trying to look at a couple things. I think that obviously, I think San Francisco's underperformed all year, despite, like you said, I think the Lions lost that game, not the Niners won. When you're looking at FPI simulations and that kind of stuff, like you said, on paper, the edge goes to the Niners, 59.4%. So it's close, but slight edge goes to the Niners. And then when you get into picks from the experts, it's not even close. So out of 64 experts, quote unquote, 49 of them picked the Chiefs, 76.6%, and only 15 picked the Niners. So I think it's on paper it should be San Francisco, and reality it's probably going to be it's probably realistically going to be Kansas City, and Mahomes will get another ring. So
Yeah, but also what I would say there, a lot of people like that space as well on the points as well. I think 2.5 is too big. I don't agree with that line whatsoever. I think it's a lot closer than that. I would say okay if it was -1 maybe, but I don't think there's that. 2.5 is just too big, and it's not big. I don't get me wrong, but if I was betting, I'd bet on the Chiefs. People on that
yeah,
line. Because I think he was stupid not to take the points, Chiefs and the points.
hmm
But go in, just no points whatsoever. That's why I'm going with the 49ers.
yeah, yep. No, I completely understand. I mean, I I'm going to go Chiefs just because I think that that's going to be the outcome. I necessarily don't want it. I'm not a big fan of either team, to be honest, but
No, no. Yeah,
I'd
but
rather
you
not
don't
see
have
the Chiefs win.
two mods at 49ers, so
Right,
uh,
right.
I've got to. Well, actually, you have got a mod. There's mod in here. Josie's our mod here. So and
Yeah.
Therapy here. So
Mhm.
who might he go against us? No, I'm
um.
joking. I get you. I got you. I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
think you take Reed over. I would take Reed over Shanahan at
Yeah.
coach,
No,
and I'd take Mahomes over Purdy any day of the week. And I think those are enough to make the difference in a big game like that. So,
that's fine.
or,
Josie's more
or
interested in food.
dang.
Mm.
But yeah, and like you said, it's. I think it's going to be a good football game, but there's not a whole hell of a lot of storyline or controversy or anything like that here. So,
No,
um,
no. I think this is pick a boring stream. It's just not much to discuss. I don't think so. In the sense of there's nothing for us to. We talked a little bit about Swifties, and that's about it. There's nothing. I've never
mhm,
been less excited for a Super Bowl. I don't think so.
yeah,
Um, this probably
nope,
translates across as well because I don't even remember the Super Bowl's happening. Do you know what I mean? So.
mhm,
But it is what it is. But the time the day comes, it'd be great again. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm more excited, looking forward to mock drafts and stuff. So, as a
yeah,
football
no,
watcher, I hope it's a good close game. Unfortunately, I pray for a blowout. so I feel comfortable. I know, Josie. I know. Yeah, I think I may have just moved on to mock drafts a bit too early because I say I'm not really into it, but we'll see. We'll see when Sunday comes. So cool. Happy with that, brother.
Yeah. Yep. So
There we are.
I'm looking forward to it. I
Thank
mean,
you, everyone.
it's a Super Bowl. It'll be fun either way. Just
Yeah,
because of the way.
I probably won't. I probably won't watch it live because I've got to take my niece first thing in the morning, which is a nightmare for me because Super Bowl finishes about 3:30 in the morning, and I gotta
Oh,
get up
wow.
at like 6:30 to take her. So it doesn't make sense. So I probably won't watch it. I'll probably watch it next day. So
Gotcha.
which is fine. I don't mind that. I don't mind doing because if I'm up at 6:30, dropping her off at 7, I'll come back and I'll watch it at 7 o'clock in the morning. So it'll be fine. So. But
Yeah.
anyway, people, thank you very much. Well, it's mostly Josie. Thank you to Dave as well. He commented a couple of times. Thank you, Josie. Thank you, Mikey. Thank you, myself. And thank you, everybody in the replay crew. No spoilers, no. Thankfully, all of you will be in bed. So it'll be fine. You'll all be, I'm going to make sure I'm off my phone and everything. So it'll be fine. Right. Love you all. Yeah. That's all. Unless you got anything else, mate.
Nope. It sounds good to me. So.
Cool. Right, catch you guys later. Just Josie, see you later. All right. Take care, everyone. Say hello to Nathan for us. And yeah, bye bye, everyone. Take care. Ta.